Just stay there! Do it! If you're anything like me, a fan of Persona 5 and the Smash Bros. Series, then you were probably really excited when Persona 5 Joker was announced for the first DLC pack for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate on the Nintendo Switch. This was especially exciting for me since I've been really wanting Smash 5 Joker in the game since far back as June. Just a couple months after they announced Smash Bros. Ultimate in March, a few months earlier. In fact, I was so excited during the announcement of Joker, Persona 5, and Smash Bros. Ultimate Nintendo Switch at the Game Awards that I couldn't even watch the trailer because I started shaking, crying, and trying to frantically tweet about it. Since then, I've been doing some thinking about what specifically could possibly be included in the Joker Persona 5 DLC pack. We know we're getting a fighter, a stage, and some music tracks, but what exactly are those things going to be? Well, I sure as hell don't know, but it sure would be fun to speculate what they could be, right? So that's what I'm going to do in this video. I'll be going over what the stage could be and what songs they could add, but I'm not stopping there. I'll also be going over some possible alt colors for Joker, a possible moveset, and some other miscellaneous inclusions I'd like to see added with this DLC pack, even though I doubt they will be added. And don't worry, I won't be talking about any major spoilers from Persona 5, so this video should be totally fine for anyone to watch, especially since I imagine more people are going to try out the game if they haven't already, due to Joker's inclusion in Smash. There will be like little itty bitty baby spoilers, but they're like things you'll encounter within the first few hours of the game, so I don't really consider them to be that big of a deal. So without further ado, let's get started. Let's talk about some possible stages that could be added in with the Joker DLC pack. One stage possibility could be the casino that we play through right at the beginning of the game. It's such a bright and colorful area and isn't a spoiler at all since it's the first place you play through when you start up the game. A possible layout could be the small area where you first get taught how the combat works with that single enemy. It could be just the circular field with a walk-off area to one side with the red ropes, kind of like the side of the Punch-Out boxing ring. There could be miscellaneous casino stuff in the background like the slot machines, those giant victory defeat neon signs, and maybe even the casino-themed shadows walking around in the back. I can't imagine any kind of floating platforms except maybe something like the arches that you jump across right before starting this fight, or the chandelier-type platform suspended by the ceiling. Maybe a stage hazard could be a giant slot machine in the background that spins every so often during the match that could randomly give a character buffs or debuffs, like the minigames from the WarioWare stage gives out. Maybe this slot machine can even be directly interacted with by the players so that buffs and debuffs go to them and isn't randomly assigned. I'm imagining they just have to hit the slot machine's lever like the checkpoint pole in Green Hill Zone. As for the Battlefield and Final Destination versions, they could either be the small field you fight the tutorial enemy in, or maybe it could be a giant roulette wheel you fight on. The next possible stage could be Mementos. Throughout the entirety of the game, you're going deeper and deeper within the physical manifestation of the collective subconscious in the form of an underground subway thing. I could see this stage as something like a traveling stage, like the F-Zero stage, Port Town Aerodive. You could be zooming down through Mementos as you pass various shadows and go through a bunch of twists and turns, just like going through the real maze-like Mementos in the game. Another way this stage could be handled could be from a sideways perspective, like F-Zero's Big Blue stage. You'd be riding along the Morgana car as the thieves barrel through Mementos, running over various shadows as they go through. In Persona 5, if you're too high of a level for the shadows, you'll instantly defeat them, but otherwise you'll get into a fight with them. This could be an interesting stage hazard, where shadows could either randomly be instantly defeated by the Morgana car, or they could jump on top of Morgana and join in on the fight, like the Yellow Devil from Mega Man's Wily Castle stage. They even kind of look the same, don't they? Just a little bit? We got the same shape. Anyway, the Battlefield and Final Destination versions could just put you on themed platforms as you zoom through the stage. Nothing too fancy. Moving on to another stage idea, we could check out Kamoshida's Castle. This is the first level of the game, if you could call the things levels, but I'm calling them a level, so this is the first level of the game. Instead of going to school, you accidentally end up in the cognitive world of the school's washed-out gym teacher. Possible areas of the stage you can fight in could be the main hall area, the dungeon, or his throne room. Maybe it could even be a morphing stage like the Fire Emblem stage, Castle Siege. But honestly, I'd prefer it if it didn't do that, but hey, that's just an idea. Depending on the area the stage takes place in, obviously the Battlefield and Final Destination versions will be different, but I think this would be a really cool theme for a stage, even though there are some already castle-like stages in the game. That's why maybe the dungeon would make for a more interesting stage, since it's even where the protagonist awakens and the players meet Morgana for the first time. Another idea I had while I was writing the script was the Velvet Room. This is something that carries across all the Persona games, but is visually different in each one. In Persona 5, the Velvet Room is a prison room kind of place. Anyway, it's definitely an important area in the game and could serve as a simple battleground to fight in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I'm not entirely sure how the stage will work in the Battlefield and Final Destination versions, but maybe something like this? Thanks. Cool. And that's it for the stages, I think. I think these three would be fine, as they wouldn't spoil too much about the game and seem appropriate places to battle. Café LeBlanc could be a cool stage, but I don't think Sojiro would be too happy with a bunch of bozos knocking over his chairs and breaking his precious restaurant equipment. Plus, it's a little too small of a place, no? Shujin Academy is a place for learning, not fighting, so that's out. No fighting in school, please, or you'll go to detention with Principal No Neck McChicken Nugget Butt. No other stages. That's it for the stages. On to the music! Persona 5, apart from just being an amazing game, has an equally amazing soundtrack. It's got so many dang bops! Obviously, if there's one song that'll be added from Persona 5, it's gotta be You'll Never See It Coming! Last Surprise. This is the main battle theme throughout the game, and it's just incredibly hype and fills you with just the right amount of fighting energy you need to take down those baddies. Preferably they'd include the vocal version of the song, but I think it'd be fine either way. Another bumpin' track that could be included could be Rivers in the Desert, despite that kind of being a more endgame song. The same could be said about the vocal or non-vocal version. I think either version would be a fine inclusion. Obviously, whatever stage they add, they're gonna have a song that correlates to that stage in the game and song and whatever. For the Mementos stage, they'd use the Mementos track. I will admit this is a bit of a droning song. It doesn't really sound like much of a fighting game, like a fighting theme, a game fighting blasters. But if they wanted to add a song to go with the stage, they'd have to use that. For the casino stage, they'd have to use Whims of Fate, the song that plays in the casino zone. I think this needs to be included as a vocal version, since Lin Inaizumi's singing goes hand in hand with that song, and to separate them would be to commit the biggest crime against all of humankind. For Kamoshida's Castle, they could use the track that plays while you go through that level in the game, King, Queen, and Slave. Again, it's a track similar to the Mementos track in that it's not really energetic or anything, but it's just nice to have a theme that matches the stage. Unlike Mementos, however, there is a boss battle theme that plays at the end of Kamoshida's Castle when you fight against Kamoshida's cognitive self himself, Blooming Villain. This is a track that plays with a lot of the bosses throughout the game, and it's another perfect battle theme to play in a game like Smash, alongside tracks like Last Surprise and Rivers in the Desert. The song that plays while you're in the Velvet Room, The Poem of Everyone's Soul, will play for that stage. This kind of song is just, kind of weird to have in a fighting game, but it matches with the stage. While they're not necessarily songs suited for fighting, I think some other great additions to the game would be Beneath the Mask, Wake Up, Get Out There, Price, Layer Cake, and The Days When My Mother Was There. Though that last one is kind of spoilery, sorry. Now let's move on to what I'm the most excited for. The alt colors! Alt colors throughout the Super Smash Bros. Series has been a great way to reference the history of the character's games, past appearances, or its series as a whole. Since Persona 5 doesn't have much history besides itself, or whatever, I thought the best way to use Joker's alt colors would be to reference the rest of the Phantom Thieves, the group that Joker leads. In Smash Bros. Ultimate, each character has 8 total appearances, their default color scheme, and 7 alt color schemes. Coincidentally, there are 8 total members of the Phantom Thieves, including Joker, so his 7 alt colors could be used to reference the 7 other Phantom Thieves. Here are some quick mock-ups I made showcasing how these color schemes could possibly look to reference these other characters. The Phantom Thieves each had their own codename, so I'll call them by that name. Anyway, we've got Mona, Skull, Panther, Fox, Queen, Oracle, and Noir. I even came up with these stock icons for how each of these alt colors and his default scheme could be represented. I actually just based this icon on Bayonetta's icon because it was the most similar, and honestly, Joker and Bayonetta have pretty similar anime hair, so it would end up looking pretty close to this anyway. Now we can move on to Joker's possible moveset. Now, I'm not the best when it comes to creating movesets since I've never done anything like that before, but this is just my idea of what kind of moves he could have in Smash. I'm not really sure these moves could work well together, but you know, whatever. Okay, let's check it out. I sketched out a bunch of moves, so let's just go over them one by one. Firstly, I thought about what his idle pose could look like. At first, I had the idea of his crouched over pose that he's in when he's going through the dungeons and stuff, but then I remembered he actually has a battle pose, so from then on I based the rest of his moveset with this in mind. For his neutral attack, I figured something simple could be sufficient, so I gave him a flurry of quick jabs with his left hand. These jabs could basically hold someone in there like other characters' jabs while holding the attack button. When you let go of the button, he could finish this jab combo by slicing the enemy into the air with his knife, sending them flying. Let's move over to his tilt attacks. His forward tilt could just be left hooks, slower than his jabs but still pretty quick. His up tilt could maybe be a hook into the air, and his down tilt could be a quick little swipe along the ground with his foot in the direction he's facing. Moving on to his smash attacks, his up smash could be a wide slash above him with his knife. For his forward smash, he'd charge up his knife and deliver a wallop of a punch-slash combo. It could count as 2 hits with the first one not causing any knockback, or it could just be one really meaty thwack to send foes flying. A fun idea for his down smash I had would be to quickly slash along the ground with his knife. It could have a pretty tricky sweet spot to hit that could cause the enemies to trip in front of Joker. This could lead to a punish or the start of a combo or whatever, I don't care. If it doesn't hit the sweet spot, it could still deal a good amount of damage and knockback. In Persona 5, Joker doesn't really have a grab mechanic in combat, but he does have a grab to start off combat. He'll jump up on top of shadows and rip their masks off to reveal the enemies and start the battle, which I think could be a really cool way to treat his grab attacks in Smash. It would be cool if, as he grabs, Joker jumps behind the enemy and just kind of sits on top of them like he does to the shadows in Persona 5. For his up throw, he could just grab them by the face and toss them high into the air like the shadows' masks. For his down throw, I couldn't really think of anything, so I just made him slash the enemy with his knife into the ground. His forward throw could have him kick the enemy from behind, and similarly, his back throw could have him sort of throw his enemy behind him and deliver a swift knife slash to send him flying. Now it's on to the really fun parts, the special attacks. For his neutral special, I could see a simple gunshot from his gun. Like in the game, it could show how much ammo he has left when he uses it. When he gets to 0 bullets left, he'd have to wait a little bit before he reloads to be able to use it again. Also, like in the game, there's a character that teaches him how to spend all his bullets in one shot to unleash a powerful blow that instantly knocks down an enemy. This could be included by holding down the B button instead of simply pressing it. It would use up all your remaining bullets to power up the shot, getting stronger as more bullets are used. If you fired up this power shot with all 6 bullets, however, it could do something like instantly stunning the target, like what would happen in the game. I feel like this is pretty fair since it would be kinda hard to hit since it's a tiny bullet. Moving on, his side special could be, stick with me now, Agi/Zio/Bufu/Garu. In the Shin Megami Tensei and Persona series, there's an elemental mechanic in the combat system that is similar to the Pokemon type system, where some elements are stronger or weaker to others. In Persona 5, the earlier elements you encounter in the game are the basic fire, lightning, ice, and wind elements. Also with these types, there are basic spells and stronger versions of these spells. For example, the fire spells go from the weakest spell, Agi, to a stronger spell, Agi Lao, to an even stronger spell, Agi Dain. Most elements in this game have a similar naming convention, which leads me to this special attack. This attack could see Joker summoning a persona to use the lightest version of these elemental spells. the fire spell Agi with Pyrojack, the electric spell Zio with Agathion, the ice spell Bufu with Jack Frost, and the wind spell Garu with Kelpie. It could either cycle through these spells in order or just select a spell at random, but each one would just launch an elemental ball straight forward, kinda similar to Zelda's Din's Fire but without the directional input or explosion connected to letting go of the B button. It would just keep going until it hit someone. Okay, that's that special attack. For the down special, I really don't want it to be a counter of any kind, please Sakura, I'm begging you. Instead, I propose Oracle Support. Without getting into it, since it's kinda year-end content I guess, there's a character who can passively and randomly give your team buffs in battle. I think this would be a cool special to give Joker since buffs are already moves certain characters have, like Wii Fit Trainer and Shulk. For Joker, I could see buffs to his attack, defense, speed, all three at once, or a quick heal as a result of using this move. Of course, Joker wouldn't be able to use this move all the time, so there would be a pretty long cooldown between each use of this special, and the buff wouldn't last very long either, maybe just as long as Shulk's buffs last. Lastly, his up special could be to summon a flying persona to bring him back up to the stage or just into the air, whatever. My initial thought for this attack would be something similar to Zelda's up special for Oray's Wind, but he doesn't disappear. At the start of this attack, whatever persona he'd be using, let's say Mothman for this example because Mothman is beautiful and I love him and he loves me, there would be an elemental explosion based on the persona. In this instance, it would be an electric burst. It would then propel Mothman and Joker through the air, in which he would still be vulnerable to attacks. At the end of the launch, there would be another burst of electricity as the persona, Mothman, disappears. Other personas this could work with are Angel and Arsene. Of course, the elemental explosions would be different and maybe Angel could heal him for a small amount instead, but I don't know, leave me alone. Now for his final smash. It's pretty easy. It's all out attack. He could initiate with an instant downshot attack, which perfectly ties into his neutral shot, except he wouldn't have to hold the B button, he'd just press it. And whoever gets hit with this attack would get dead by Joker's all-out attack move. It would be cool if the other three teammates that join Joker's all-out attack were random as well. And that's it for his possible moveset. I guess I could talk about his taunt. His up taunt could be maybe him adjusting his gloves like he always likes to do. His side taunt could be him holding his mask as fire engulfs his head and then dissipates, kind of like how it looks like when he summons a persona. As for his down taunt, he could curl up into a ball like Cat Morgana. He could pull out a cup of coffee and take a sippy. He could fix his boots. I don't know, leave me alone. What do you want from me? Okay, now we're on to some miscellaneous stuff that I think would be really cool inclusions to the game with the Joker DLC. First, I think some kind of codec call or Palutena's guidance would be really fun, especially since this is something you come across all the time throughout the game, with characters talking to you and informing you about enemies and stuff all the time. I think having Oracle chime in and say a quick few lines would be really fun, though I know this really isn't much of a possibility, but it's still a fun thing to think about. I even made a mock-up of what this could look like. Just for the sake of this mock-up, imagine Kirby as Joker and the stage as a Persona 5 stage. So here's what Oracle chiming in could look like.
3, 2, 1, go!
Watch out, Joker! Is that sand?
Another fun inclusion could be spirit battles. I don't know if Nintendo is planning on including any new spirits with their DLC packs, but some spirits and battles would be really awesome. Some ideas could be Panther as Zerosuit Samus, who mostly uses her whip, Skull as Pikachu, who maybe always uses Skull Bash and can hurt you while dashing, and Mona as Meta Knight, who will constantly use that spinny attack thing. I don't know. Just some ideas. So, those are my ideas for what could be included in the Joker Persona 5 DLC pack for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, coming hopefully pretty soon. If you have any ideas that I may not have had, or you've got some comments about something I said, let me know in the comments section below. This is something that I'm really looking forward to, so I'd be up for any kind of discussion on this topic at all. Anyway, that's going to be it for now. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you all again. Wait a minute. What's this?
You never see it coming.